don't have any superstars, right? Like you look at Harry Kane.
Inzaghi is the biggest miracle worker in football. What a genius. Genius manager. Inter has no business competing on all fronts like this. I think this is highly disrespectful to the caliber of squad that Inter have at their disposal. Look at the team, people. You have a player like Bastoni, unbelievable. Barella, Lautaro Martinez, obviously Jan Sommer, Pavard. Like, it's not like Inter have bozos out there and they don't know what they're doing. Inter have all the pieces to compete in the Serie A. Before this season, most people would have picked Inter to win the Serie A, correct? Coppa Italia, you would have probably picked them to win it as well. And the Champions League, I mean, for me, I picked them to win the UCL this season. I just see Inter as a very good team, right? Inter don't have the flashy cars out there. They don't have a Vini, they don't have a Saka, they don't have a Leao or somebody like that. But what they have is a great unit and such underrated ball. Like, nobody will talk about Bastoni. Why don't people talk about Bastoni? A Rolls Royce of a defender, comfortable on the ball, passing elite, dribbling out of spaces. For a center back his size, outstanding, and defensively a machine. Look at some of the blocks and the tackles. Like, attackers look at Bastoni and they're getting frightened by it. He is a supreme monster, is Bastoni, and he needs to be hyped up more. He should be a top 3 center back in this world. He should be with the Van Dijks, the Kobarsis, Antonio Rudigers, Saliba, Gabriel. Bastoni's up there. He can sit at that table. He's got a VIP ticket. Look at Acerbi, for example. 37 years old, was on a free transfer, I think, to Inter, but that's just down to Beppe Marotta and working with Inzaghi and finding a good cohesive leader and somebody who has experience like a Acerbi. Of course, he's not a greatest defender ever. Could he play in a back four formation right now at his age? Probably not. But in this formation, Acerbi works perfectly. Same thing with Pavard. We know Pavard, very good on the ball, defensively strong. When Pavard is healthy, valuable piece to this Inter team. But then you look at the midfield. The midfield of Mkhitaryan. Again, people will just look at the names of Hendrik Mkhitaryan to Darmian to Acerbi and say, how is Inzaghi doing this? Well, Mkhitaryan, again, comfortable on the ball, very high intelligence of the game, and he's got experience. That's what you need in the Champions League. And Barella, this guy is one of the best midfielders in the world. The dude is just, like, you can watch him play and you're like, how does he do it? How does he look so comfortable on the ball? How does he get out of those tight spaces? Passing ability, the complete package, like a Pedri, like a Bellingham, like a Valverde. Barella is up there. He is a top 5 midfielder in this world. The reason why he doesn't get highly regarded is because, one, Inter have never won the UCL. Like, Barella was involved in the Italian team that won the Euros in 2021. Of course, he hasn't played at a World Cup yet, so is that reason why he doesn't get highly regarded? Barella is up there as one of the best midfielders in the world. Hakan Çalhanoğlu, what he has done in his career, going from a number 10 to a DM position, because Inzaghi sees his game and saying, oh, you can find a pass 30 yards out to one of our fullbacks, whether it's Darmian, Dumfries, Di Marco, Carlos Augusto, one of these players. Like Hakan, man, his career has evolved so much since his time at Hamburg, obviously at AC Milan. He's one of the best DMs in the world, Hakan Çalhanoğlu. Yeah, he's not going to get the praise like, let's say, a Caicedo or a Rice or one of these players, but this season has not been his best, but he's still out there doing his God's work. And then you look at the two strikers. Lautaro always gets highly disrespected. Always. I see some people don't even have him in like top 10 strikers. I'm like, are you guys watching football? Are we just so clouded by the fact that, yes, Lautaro in that Champions League final against Man City was not the best. Okay, yes, you look at the World Cup 2022, it wasn't the best from Lautaro. The guy scores crucial goals. Goal away to Anfield in the Champions League. Goal away to Bayern Munich in the Champions League. Lautaro shows up. That goal yesterday, by the way, people. The Trivela finish by Lautaro was outstanding. And Marcos Thuram, they just perfectly complement each other so well. In a world where we never see a two-striker formation. We never see it. Inter is one of the only teams to do it. They execute it so well. I don't understand why some teams don't copy what Inter are doing and saying, let's just run a two-striker formation. It works. And yet yesterday, there was no Di Marco, there's no Dumfries, they're out injured, and the average age of the Inter team yesterday was 31 years old. It seriously reminds me of that 2009-2010 team for Inter. A team full of players that were at the twilight of their careers. Maybe other clubs didn't want them, then obviously Inter and Jose, they took them on, and what did they do? They won the treble. And right now, this team is on course to win the treble. They're leading the Serie A. They're in the semi-final of the Coppa Italia with one leg semi-final still to go against AC Milan. And now they got one foot into the semi-final of the Champions League. So when I go back to this tweet, Inzaghi is the biggest miracle worker in football. No, he isn't. He is not the biggest miracle worker. Now, no doubt about it, Simone Inzaghi is one of the best managers in this world. He is outstanding for what he has done to Inter, taking over from Antonio Conte. Yes, should he have won the Serie A in the 21-22 season? Of course, maybe Inter should have won it then. But he has still delivered a Serie A, Coppa Italias, obviously the Champions League final in 2023. Yeah, 2023. So I think Inzaghi is one of the best managers out there. Tactical approach, the way he just allows his players a lot of freedom on the field. You look at Bastoni, for example, playing as a left center back. And then sometimes he's in the box as a striker. That's just the freedom that Inzaghi allows with this formation and tactical setup. Is all these players have to be good though. There's no way that you can have a bum out there. Now, of course, you look at a player like Aslani, yeah, not going to work out there. Fratesi starting from the get-go, not the best. So you need a player like Barella, a Mkhitaryan, a Çalhanoğlu, a Lautaro, a Marcus Thuram, because when you throw in players like Arnautovic, Taremi, they don't have that same sort of impact. But in these big nights of the Champions League, you need star players. That's what Inter have. They have star players. So I think it can go both ways. You could say Inzaghi is an absolutely genius manager, and what he's doing with this Inter team is astronomical. But in the flip side, why don't we praise these players more? Why don't we give higher praise to a Bastoni, to a Barella, to a Lautaro Martinez? Why do we not give the praise that they deserve? Jan Sommer, for example. Jan Sommer just loves playing against Bayern Munich. He loves it because he just same thing at Borussia Mönchengladbach. Did the same thing yesterday. Didn't make any outstanding saves in the game, but his presence clearly feared the Bayern Munich players. Sommer is one of the more underrated goalkeepers of this generation. You can talk about Jan Oblak, another underrated goalkeeper, but Jan Sommer has been doing this for over a decade in the Bundesliga. All he needs is a Champions League trophy, and you're like, wow, Jan Sommer, you've had an outstanding career. I think it's just highly disrespectful to not rate these Inter players for the job they have done and experience they got. Bastoni's only 25 years old. Barella, 28 years old. Lautaro, 27. Marcus Thuram, 27. Carlos Augusto, 26. Still Di Marco and Dumfries out there on the field. Bisek, who's, you know, a hot and cold sort of player. Bisek, I think he needs more game time. His reading of the game isn't the greatest. I think Inter and Beppe Marotta, I mean, the guy is a genius. For the lack of finances that... Could you imagine if Inter were allowed to spend money? Like, I mean, serious money. People like 100 million per transfer window. This team would be phenomenal. Because then you could have a replacement for Henrik Mkhitaryan. You could have a better replacement for Çalhanoğlu. Or maybe better center back instead of Acerbi, for example, in that central role. Like, Inter would be such a dominant force. Because Inzaghi is a brilliant manager. And yes, they don't have always the best pieces. Would you take Mkhitaryan at Arsenal, Liverpool? No, you wouldn't. And that's no disrespect to Mkhitaryan. But the other players, you cannot disrespect them. You cannot say that, oh, it's just because Inzaghi is a miracle worker. No, we're not going to do that. As an MTF footballing community, we need to give higher praise to players like Bastoni, to Barella, to Pavard, to Di Marco, to Lautaro, to Marcus Thuram, because these guys deserve it. If they win the Champions League this season, Inter, oh, then you're going to see people be like, wow, Barella, one of the best midfielders in the world. Bastoni, one of the best center backs in the world. They already are. They already are. But they just haven't achieved the big ears yet, which is win the UCL. And if Inter do that, then you're going to see these players get the rightful praise they truly deserve. And I think more respect should be given to this Inter side. One, because they have a brilliant manager. And two, they have easily the best squad in Serie A. Easily the best squad. They have a much better team than Napoli, than Bologna, than Juventus, than Milan, than Roma. And if you look at Europe, Inter have a top 5 or top 6 team in Europe because they got the experience, they got the technical quality, they got the physicality, they got everything about them. Inter can play such various ways, and that's why they're such a difficult opponent to play against. In possession, dynamite. Out of possession, counterattacking, dynamite. Defensive wall, yeah, you're not going to get past them, people. That's why there's only conceded 3 goals in the Champions League this season. 2 of them were set pieces, and the first open play goal yesterday against Bayern Munich. But take nothing away, Simone Inzaghi is a damn damn good manager. Well, let me know your thoughts in the comments down below, people. Why do you think the Inter players don't get the respect they deserve? Is it because of the league they play in? Why aren't people hyping up more the likes of Bastoni to Barella? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new around here, and don't forget we have the live UCL review on Thursday, recapping all 4 games of the quarterfinals. Remember to follow me on all the socials. You can find those links in the description down below. But have a beautiful day. Stay safe in this crazy world. Till next time. Adios.